All right, guys. The first sub position from deep half guard that I'd like to get into is called the waiter sweep or the waiter position. It's called like that because it looks like you're carrying trays as a waiter does. So what I'm looking for here is to get, I'm already underneath my opponent and I'm removing as much of him from the floor as possible and putting him on top of me like I'm a stability ball or a yoga ball. So, this is our position. So we'll get into how to get into it and all that stuff. Right here. I'm elbow deep on my opponent's shin or partner's shin. I want to avoid doing this. This is begging to be kimura and or underhooked. A good guy like Adam is going to make me really sorry I did that. 1, 2, and I can lock a triangle, but I'll be honest, that isn't really necessary and isn't super useful. What I prefer to do instead is use my right leg as a lever as I move. So this is your waiter. I'm shoulder deep with my right arm, my inside arm that's underneath his leg. I'm elbow or shoulder deep, as far in as you can get. Get as far away from your own wrist. You get a lot more powerful as you get closer to the center of your body. Bringing your arm all the way deep here is going to go a long way. Now, you can attach in the gi. A lot of times you see people holding on tight here. Not wrong, obviously fantastic. People, get a little pissed when you grab their shirt with a no gi, and if you grab them by the nips, they really hate that. So what you'd like to do instead is see if you can attach to their triceps. And what I'm doing is I'm rocking like a ball, and I'm keeping Adam seated on me. What I want to make sure that I'm not doing is trying to throw him off of me. I'm not trying to push in my legs because ironically, I'll actually push him out of my control, which starts to get pretty dicey. So if we come back again, here's my waiter position. 1, 2, and this leg, my free leg, is actually what's going to allow me to get quite a bit of heat in this position. If you notice, I can put him down over here. I can put him down over here if we want. And bring him back up on top. I'm like, yeah, hey guys. Yeah. Let me throw him at the camera. We're staying as connected as we possibly can. Some of you are going, but I'll heel hook him. You will not. Well, you'll try. You may. But I'll try to stop you. So what we need to understand is that the stouter your defense, the more defensively sound you are, the more you can do stuff like this. No problem. If you are, I think about this a lot when it comes to fighting guys, is let's say, for instance, I'm against somebody in the ring that if I so much as throw a punch at them, they'll take my head off. Dude, I do not belong in that ring. I need to not be fighting this person in a competitive setting. There's a difference between being able to engage with someone and not being able and having to do it cautiously or carefully or responsibly and getting to the point where I'm like, oh my God, if they so much as touch my foot, I'm dead. If your foot lock defense is that garbage, you need to slow down, step back, and start to understand foot lock defense a little bit better. It's not magic. The way that they have to move to hurt your foot. This is not a DVD. This is not a course that's goes in depth into that sort of thing. We get to that at another time. Or if you track me down at some point, I'd be happy to help. Or you can go outside and find some other resources. But the basic idea is your leg being vulnerable and exposed does not mean that they don't have to move in order to attack you. So we'll get into how to protect yourself in this position a little bit further down the line. But if we come back and we're in that waiter spot, so I'm all the way underneath of Adam, shoulder deep. My bend of my knee, if we rotate, my bend of my knee is about even with Adam's. Arms are caught. If Adam, can you drop back for the heel hook right now? Can you break it? No. Why not?
I don't have the ability to drive off the ground.
Yeah, you couldn't heel hook me in space. Why? He's got nothing to drive off of. If I put Adam down, this can start to get real unpleasant. Yeah. There's a lot of different ways you can protect yourself before it gets to this point. But basically, you need to avoid the end game, the final step of a position. Having your leg exposed, oftentimes, I'll be honest, people trying to foot lock me is fantastic. It couldn't become easier to sweep them. So we'll get into, again, the nitty gritty of kind of how all that goes down as we go a little bit forward. But submissions are one of the things that causes a lot of problem in jiu-jitsu. And a lot of times people get a little bit of a, frankly, like battered girlfriend syndrome, like early on, because we all get beat up. So we all get submitted so many times, just white, blue, purple, all the way up. We all get submitted even a black belt, of course. But you're so vulnerable to submissions, and there's so many ways to lose in jiu-jitsu that you almost get to the point where like, oh my God, I can't do anything. Whereas we have to start to break away from that as we get more experience and we learn to go, oh, I can get out of this, I can get out of that, I can defend this, I can defend that. making sure that we appreciate the position is going to be king, at a high level. As we get more experience, don't worry too much if people are able to catch you initially, as long as you're training with safe people. You're going to find your ways to defend yourself and score very, very effectively. So one last little bit. Let's say we start in deep half. My hand is transitioning from Adam's hip to Adam's high up onto his other hip. I'm sorry. I'm jumping my legs up and I'm squaring to Adam. So we've actually gone from elongated to pretty square. If we rotate, legs go whoop, shin all the way into his hip, knee all the way in the bend of his knee. And again, feel free to lock your triangle, but you don't really get a lot out of this because you're not extending your hip to finish this. You're actually keeping him on you and rocking. One more, please, if we come back. I'm like, all right, how do I do it? I transition, I take myself from on my side to on my back. This is a little bit different. Right hand or inside arm is going to his far hip to make sure that he goes nowhere, he doesn't go too high. I'm actually bringing him from up on my shoulder to down onto my hip. Or I could say I'm bringing my hip all the way up. Really, it doesn't matter if I move him down or he moves, or I move me up. It's a 6 1/2 dozen. I rotate. Gotcha. And you should be able to comfortably move your partner around. Yeah.